potentially in response to Russia's involvement with the ongoing war in Ukraine. US and NATO have finally decided to kick Russia out of the SWIFT system. Why did they wait so long to make a decision? It wasn't because of the already negotiated sanctions, was it? What would be difficult for NATO to hide? I will provide a detailed analysis of 4 common mistakes about similar systems. I guarantee that you will be the brightest person in the office tomorrow morning when you go to work. Was the SWIFT system created by American? No, this is the first mistake. The SWIFT system was set up in 1973 as a messaging system for banks, with 5 major groups, 239 individual banks based in Brussels. This has led to many people seeing the role of the European Union as dominant because it's the headquarters for this group, and is also the headquarters of the European Union. From the beginning, US wanted to control the so-called database, but it has not been successful. But after 9/11, the US has started to make an agreement with SWIFT. As the US focuses on stopping terrorism and strengthen their control of systems that are a threat to them. For many years, the US government had a monopoly on database information. It was not until 2011 that they were able to work with SWIFT and monitor every bank transaction made. Of course, this is the biggest hidden danger of all systems. See at the end and I'll tell you why. Second, is SWIFT an international interbank clearing system? That is, it's an internet-based banking communication system, not a clearing system. In the most basic sense, it enables every bank to be assigned with its own Internet Protocol (IP) address so that any technical barriers will not separate them. That's a valid point and one of the main difficulties with creating this kind of system. If everyone uses it, banks and clearinghouses will accept it as long as enough people use it. Conversely, if enough banks and clearinghouses exit, it is essentially worthless. Third, without SWIFT, doing business abroad might not be simple. As mentioned above, SWIFT system is only available in 1973. Before SWIFT, everyone's still doing business without. SWIFT makes international transactions much easier and more convenient. For instance, if Germany wants to buy Russian natural gas, they would use the old traditional way of making this transaction, like communicate the transaction over a phone call or an email. Fourth, this is the first time we're using the SWIFT system, which calls for the nuclear weapon of financial sanctions for NATO to punish Russia. After 2011, US took control of SWIFT system they used against Iran in 2012. After the sanctions forbidding SWIFT use in Russia had been lifted by the end of 2014, the service has been put back into operation. This allowed 500,000 credit and debit cards to be deactivated or frozen. So sometimes the power of SWIFT is indeed not small, but the reason for the delay this time is actually that after 2014, Russia has been preparing for a long time because it's created its own payment system and financial information exchange system, which will allow it to be fully de-dollarized. So the worry right now is definitely not Russia because of the sanctions, it must be a loss in his plan. But the real entanglement is 2 groups. One is Europe, which still needs to purchase from Russia. The other one is countries that are worried that once this way of punishing has no effect, it will no longer be able to deter anyone else with a SWFIT system. In fact, it's important to have a system like SWIFT that is based on trust. If it's broken, the opponent won't be convinced and we can't take them down. The result is that the whole world starts to develop its own system, because who can guarantee that one day not happen to them? If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumb up and share with your friend. Thank you for watching.